Three, two, one, ghost. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 3, 2, 1, Ghost. I'm your host with the silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my pal Natalie. I am thankful for you.
Damn it. You stole my line. I wasn't going to say I was thankful for you, but I was going to say I was just feeling thankful.
I love that. Hey, everybody. We're talking about 2023's Thanksgiving, directed by Eli Roth, written by Jeff Rendell and Eli Roth. I, of course, we're doing this the week of that holiday.
Uh-huh.
Um, I want to just be out front and forward that
Yeah, you're going to talk
Thanksgiving,
about Thanksgiving?
that
Like the
Thanksgiving
holiday, not the
itself,
movie?
yes, um, is a dumb holiday.
It is.
Um, and if anything, like I think the correlation between that and this movie, and really just capitalism in general, but if anything, I guess it is kind of thematic of someone barging in, taking advantage, taking what you want, and then just moving forward, like as if, not even caring about all the people that you've left in your wake. So I think about that with the Pilgrims, and I think about these assholes on Black Friday.
Wow. Oh, that was good.
But that being said, I am thankful for you. I'm thankful for this dumb old little podcast we have.
Oh, me too.
So, and I'm thankful that there are still houses in the neighborhood that still have their Halloween stuff up. Love that. Stay strong, whoever the fuck's a couple blocks away. I always walk around when I take my dogs out, but stay strong. I was weak. I took mine off like the first week, second weekend after, but
So did I. What a failure we are.
I know we just had so many like other things going on that was I was just, at least for me, I'm like, I am like not home on the weekends. Hey,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to flex. I'm a busy guy. I got stuff. I got business and a little pleasure. And and then the nice thing is that the way I kind of set stuff up, it's really easy to just take it all down, put it back in a box and put it in the basement. And it takes
Yeah.
like maybe like 10, 15 minutes to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, um,
Maybe some spooky Christmas decorations this year. That's what I might do.
ooh, yeah, just like a Krampus themed situation. Just find a giant Krampus. You
Mhm.
feel like each year they have that at like I feel like you can find them like every year at like a Home Depot or something.
Really?
Yeah, they always have, like, at least last year they had like some like giant, like I guess it's more of a Yeti because it was kind of like an ice monster situation.
Hmm.
And then
I
they
like that.
had,
Oh, I like that.
yeah,
I like the idea of like a Yeti. That's kind of fun.
yeah, because it's still a little spooky, still a little frosty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So those are my feelings about the holiday itself. But one thing I enjoy though is that it is, you don't have to think so much about, well, I don't know. Let me drop this back a little bit. Um, I do appreciate the vibe of this movie though. I'll just leave it at that.
I appreciate the way that it's looking at Thanksgiving and Black Friday as a whole, and it's very silly. And that I appreciate. I also am not like the biggest fan of Thanksgiving. I do like that many people have it off. My family does like to get together on Thanksgiving, but we don't really do like the whole, like, what are you thankful for? It's just like we all have this day off. Like, what are the odds? So I appreciate holidays that you still have off, but as this movie proves, Thanksgiving is starting to move into the category of holidays that like most people in customer service industry or like don't have the day off. So there's that.
That was going to be my next thing. You and I have both extensively worked in retail.
Hmm.
And I never had to work at a place. Well, no, I've been at some places that did like a Black Friday event,
Hmm.
but most of the time I was working like, at the ticket counter at the movie theater,
Hmm.
or even when I was working at that like arts and crafts store, like even when it was Black Friday, like we maybe opened 8 a.m., maybe earliest. So like not
Yeah, like it wasn't the night of Thanksgiving like some places do.
right.
Yeah.
But the idea of it and just working in retail, I really hate people and I really hate customers.
Uh-huh.
The customer is rarely ever right. They're always fucking entitled. And but the thing is though, is that if you're just like a little bit kind. I'm like,
Hmm.
I give you like 150, 200%
Oh,
customer
for
service. All
sure.
you have to do is just not be a fucking prick. And that
Just
shows
be
how little
nice.
that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I like have spent a lot of years in customer service and I'm the same. I don't really enjoy people overall, so it's really funny that like I would place myself in a retail environment, but I also am really good at just being like sarcastically happy and like telling dad jokes and like, like just all the dumb things that, you do in customer service and I try to have fun with it. But if people are mean, get the fuck out. Like, why are you being mean to someone you don't know? That's so weird. This whole situation is so exaggerated and over the top. And I'm sorry, but like I mean, Black Friday hasn't been a real thing like this for a very long time. Like I would have believed this more if they placed this movie in the 90s. I think that actually would have been better because there were fights happening on Black Friday over like Tickle Me Elmos and shit.
Right. Yeah, fuck people. They would just have to figure out another way because like Instagram is like such a core component of this plot
Mm,
that like I don't
that's
know.
true.
I mean, there's some other way you could
They could
just
have gotten around that.
broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shredder was broadcasting shit on to the Ninja Turtles like
exactly.
willy-nilly whenever the fuck he wanted. He was just like, give me
Just
that channel station or give me
just
that
took
news
over
station.
cable. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm with Krang. Fuck you, Turtles. Let's go. Um, that was gonna be my other thing. Like, I mean, I have not really like worked that type of Black Friday event.
No, never.
And I've only been as a customer to one like that where I like
Ooh,
stayed like not like overnight, but like mostly kind of like I met somebody at like 2 in the morning outside
fair.
of Best Buy.
Of course.
But I mean, I was also working at the movie theater at the time. I was off at 2 in the morning anyway, and I was like 18, 19. I was like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
be up anyway. So I just went and like met a buddy of mine. I had like I remember it being fucking cold.
Yeah.
But I had my like little Nintendo DS and I was playing some Mario Kart, just hanging out. And then I didn't even like buy anything because it's not like I had like any money anyway. Like I think I
Yeah,
like
you're
ended
just
up
there for the
getting
experience.
and it was a dumb experience because it like opened, right? And then you just get kind of funneled through this line and you're like walking through the store and it's always like, super like maybe it's deep discounts on shit you don't want, just because
Yeah.
they like we have so many fucking copies of Rocky 6 that
Yeah.
we just need to make them $2 so someone will just please fucking take
Hmm.
them. I was one of those people.
Of
So
course.
Rocky 6 isn't bad.
No, it's
Um,
not.
but even then, but I do remember like as a kid, right, in the late 80s, early 90s, and like my mom and some of the neighbor moms like would go out and hang out in front of the Macy's and then get that whatever the fuck that was that they were handing out, their doorbuster
Hmm.
deals or whatever. But now there were times, now this movie's like kind of based on the idea that like there were some occasions where some violence broke out in like Walmarts and stuff like
Hmm.
that on Black Friday. Like so this isn't totally, off the cuff,
No,
but
for
it's a little exaggerated though,
2023, for
definitely.
2023, it definitely is like the fact that that many people, even if they were just peacefully in line, that many people, that is unbelievable enough in itself. So you really have to like just put yourself in a different world because this is a world where like people really care about Black Friday. But on the other hand, too, really important to know if you aren't a person who's in retail and you don't realize this already, the deals on Black Friday actually aren't your deepest discounts. So stop shopping on Black Friday. It's not it's not the time. That's really
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
So this movie stars Patrick Dempsey.
Mm.
We always like Patrick Dempsey, okay? I mean, like,
I,
granted, is he
uh, maybe not in Scream 3.
in the worst Scream movie? Yes.
Mhm.
The scariest movie is his life.
Yeah.
Um,
It's nothing against him personally. It's just that character is not one that we love. But I love him like as an actor and I think he's very handsome and talented. He's probably the best. He probably has the best acting in this movie.
definitely.
Yeah.
My understanding is that is his real accent.
That's what I heard too. And I just think that's wild.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, I never would have thought that.
I can only do I can't do a good East Coast impression, and I can only say wicked had, but that's it.
Well, that's a very specific, like, where are they? They're in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a very specific type of like East Coast accent. It's actually like one of my least favorites. Sorry, everybody, but um, maybe it's just my New Jersey like bias, but it's um, it's really hard to like replicate if you're not from there.
Okay, you know it's kind of a low-key sexy accent?
Oh, let me hear it. What?
Midwestern.
Really
Like Fargo and
interesting.
shit.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try to do that one, but I'm like
I
watching
thought
like
you were going to.
I'm like watching Fargo and I'm just like, dang, like, season two or some shit. And I'm like, dang, Kirsten Dunst, that's working for me.
Yeah, she's cute though. She's cute in that. She's
Yeah.
a little kooky, but
Yeah. So you've got Patrick Dempsey. You have Nell Verlaque, who plays the main character, Jessica. Jalen Thomas Brooks, who plays Bobby. Addison Rae, who I guess is like a social media person, TikTok star. Of course, that shows I'm showing my age real hard, but apparently that's what she might be known for.
I
She
didn't know
plays
that.
Gabby.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You got Rick Hoffman, who plays the dad. He has a very just familiar and just like recognizable face, but he's just like a character actor. You just kind of
He kind of just pops up in random things, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course you got Gina Gershon. Um,
Ah, love her.
May I offer?
Oh, you know it. She's an industry legend. Absolutely. Fucking
100%.
love her.
She's the best. Actually, okay, I would say, yeah, okay, maybe Dempsey might be the best actor in this
He's
group
got the
right now.
most in it.
But I would say if you gave Gershon a little more to work with,
Oh
I
yeah.
think she would go toe to toe easy.
Yeah, no, she's incredible.
Yeah.
We know that.
Now this movie is before we hop into it, this movie is one of like four, five, if you include sequels, spin-offs from the 2007 movie Grindhouse. Technically two
Mm,
movies.
yeah.
What's it? I keep wanting to say Killer Pizza from Mars, but that's a place in San Diego. But
Mm-hmm.
what's the not well, Death Proof is the Quentin Tarantino one, and then what's the Robert Rodriguez one? Planet Terror. That's it.
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, my as soon as you ask me, my brain goes blank.
Have you seen that? Have you seen those?
I haven't seen them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. They're on my list. I just have never gotten around to them. And there's so many people that I love in both of them.
I'm having deja vu because I feel like I probably have said this in an episode prior, but I feel like I want to go back and give Death Proof another shot because I like wasn't feeling it, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
think
just
you
too
have
top
said that.
it was too talky. I wanted to see limbs flail. So when they finally
Yeah.
did, I was like, all right, this is good. But the movie's like, I don't,
Yeah.
like I said, I can't remember. But Planet Terror is a little more like popcorn fun, you know,
Hmm.
um, hits its beats a little faster. Now there's these trailers in the middle, like these fake trailers that they created
Yeah.
right in between Planet Terror and Death Proof. One is Hobo with a Shotgun. They made a movie
Mm.
out of that.
Yeah. Did you watch
Um,
that?
no.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's it's exactly what you would expect. Like he's just going around shooting people. And for one watch, it's entertaining enough, but like I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Like if you're curious about it though, sure, go for it.
They also made the Machete movies, like at least
Mm-hmm.
two of them, with Danny
Yeah.
Trejo. I
Yeah.
think one of them have like Lindsay Lohan? Like maybe the second one.
Maybe. I think I only watched the first one.
I haven't seen either.
Mm.
And the other two trailers, well, I mean, there was Thanksgiving, and then there was Werewolf Women of the SS. That was the Rob Zombie directed trailer, which is okay. Of course, it's just got
That was not made into a movie. That's one of the few that
no.
hasn't been. Yeah.
The
Okay.
only two that haven't been made into a movie are Women of the SS, but I think I think there are plans to make almost all of these at some point. And
Yeah.
then Don't, which is the Edgar Wright haunted house movie.
Hmm.
If you've seen that trailer, that's my favorite one. It's so funny.
Oh, they should do that
And
then.
it's Will Arnett doing like the voiceover in the
Oh, I
trailer.
love that.
It's
Okay.
really, really funny.
He's got a good
Um
voice.
and then this one, like, and it's so wild that a movie that like was a middling success, like nobody talks about those two movies really on like the higher rings
Hmm.
of either Rodriguez or Tarantino's work,
Hmm.
but they've like managed to like make movies out of almost all of these like other properties. Like, and it's weird that the appetite is there for them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And here we are 17 years, well, sorry, at the time of the movie releasing,
Hmm.
16 years later, and now we have
Bonkers.
this movie based on this trailer in a movie that in between movies that like people like didn't watch.
Yeah.
And I did watch the trailer again. Did you watch the original trailer?
No, I haven't watched it. I probably should have.
Have you seen it ever?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Mhm.
there's a couple key differences, but a lot of similarities too. Obviously, it's a lot grimier,
Hmm.
the way that it's filmed. And there are a couple scenes that like literally are just like the exact same, like the parade, the
Yeah.
turkey having his head chopped off, like the guy in the turkey costume.
Hmm.
Um, More infamously, you have the scene with the jock and the cheerleader
Hmm.
when the jock is killed and the cheerleader's on the trampoline.
Yeah.
In the trailer, she's topless.
Yeah.
And when the knife comes out, it's as she's falling and doing the splits. So
Of course.
it's a very gross sexualized,
Yeah.
you know, depiction of that. I was just shocked that this like movie exists and there's like still enough of an
Hmm.
appetite for it so much longer or so much later down the road. But I mean, I don't know, like ultimately I'm happy it exists. I think it's fine.
Hmm.
I enjoyed watching it.
I wonder if there would have been any appetite for it if it wasn't Thanksgiving specifically, because I feel like horror fans are just so desperate to have movies that fill every single holiday so that we can make everything spooky, And like, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying if you told me somebody was going to make a slasher that had to do with Easter, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it. So I wonder if that is part of the appeal that kind of, got it going.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I am misrepresenting Eli Roth as divisive,
I don't think so.
but I think he is certainly a big name in horror. He's like almost like okay, this isn't going to be the best thing, but I'm going to go with it anyway. But like, he's like almost like the Kevin Smith of horror films, even though Kevin Smith's made a couple pretty good horror films, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, he's like a very, makes his indie movies and then is like almost just known as like almost like just like the godfather of like indie horror making. And he hosts that TV show that was on Shudder,
Hmm.
the at the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle, in the basement. Very fittingly, there's the horror section, and it's
Yeah.
like all like it's the whole thing is curated by Eli Roth. So like he's like almost kind of like this de facto go-to like knowledge holder of the genre too. So that's where I see that kind of connection.
Well, okay. I think that there's a a little bit of like a separation of like and not like actual separation. Like I think people in their minds separate his movies and the way that he chooses to, we'll say, artistically express himself through his films versus the Eli Roth that is like a horror nerd and has a lot of like knowledge and things that he collects and the way that he like relates to horror fans because I think that there's like two different types of fans for him. Like there's people who are like, or maybe three. There's people who are all in on his movies and this personality that he has, but then there's also people who just watch his movies or just know him like as a horror nerd. So like I don't really know that much about him. And I was looking through his filmography and I was like, oh, actually, like my list of things that I like of his are short, but I fucking love the things that I like of his. So that there's that. But his personality is not great.
Yeah. He's got this kind of like broy kind of thing about him, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And
like a Zach Bagans type
I don't know. I think Zach
energy.
Bagans is better at being like PC though. Whereas
Yeah.
Eli Roth has this, and I think this is one of the things that probably bothers you. He has this let's see. I'm not going to try to say it in a nice way. He's got this very special white guy privilege that's like, no, no, I'm an artist. And so when I'm doing it, when I'm showing you gratuitous nudity or when I'm like sexualizing things in horror, I'm doing it with a purpose. So that makes it okay. When I write a script that has the N word used in it a couple times when maybe it didn't need it, like I'm doing it to make an impact. So he has that mindset, but he's not. This is good. Like Eli Roth, if you're listening to this, great, but also like, sorry, I don't think he's that smart. Like, I think he thinks he's smarter and more clever than he actually is. So there's that too. I've watched interviews of him because, Hostel is one that a lot of people take issue with. And I was like, okay, I need to like get inside this guy's head and see like what his intentions were, if he even like realizes what he's doing. And he does, but he like is very like sorry, not sorry about it, where he's like, just he feels it's okay, so it's okay. And I actually am not offended by a lot of the things that people are offended by in some of his films, but I think his attitude towards it then makes me like offended after the fact.
I hear you.
You get what I mean? Like I was like, oh, if he actually was a more nuanced person, then maybe I would be more into it.
My challenge with Eli Roth is that he like I like there are really effective parts in Cabin Fever.
I love Cabin Fever so much. You know I love it. We're going to talk about it one day.
It's probably my second favorite. It's my second favorite Eli Roth movie.
Mm, what's your
And
first? This one.
you're gonna have to wait till the end of the episode. And like Cabin Fever, Hostel 2, sure, and then Green Inferno.
I've never seen Green Inferno.
All of them have this idea of white kids in a place that they're unfamiliar,
Mm-hmm.
and the fear comes from the other, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so in Cabin Fever, it is I'd like to think of Cabin Fever as like his hillbilly elegy, right? Um and but like it's say in that movie, the other in this case is very impoverished people in the deep
Mm-hmm.
South,
Mm-hmm.
Um, in Hostel, it is Eastern Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
And in Green Inferno, it's like I think they're like in South America, but it's like
Yeah.
the villain and the monster is always
Mm-hmm.
the other that you don't understand, don't sometimes care to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like like it just feels kind of tired. And
Yeah.
I think also
That's
pushes a lot of like obviously like really just dumb and unfortunate kind of tropes and
mm-hmm.
biases and assumptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
About other cultures. Like I can't imagine Hostel did much for tourism in out in like Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah. I
So
they actually were really not a big fan of of the movie. I watched some thing about Hostel and I
and I'm
think
sure he
it
had some sorry no sorry response, right?
well, this is okay. This is the thing though. It is tired, that like trope of like the others like being the actual villains. But I am gonna give him a little bit of a pass only because who is most likely to be afraid of those others? A group of like young, privileged white kids. So he's not wrong in thinking that they would be afraid of these things. It's how he's depicting them to be like correct. That is the problem. So he's taking
Sure.
fears of like of who he views probably to be as his target audience. And honestly, I would say probably women and people of color aren't Eli Roth's like target demographic. So I would think that he knows that and is like playing it as a strength. And I'm not saying that's okay, but he knows whose wallet he's reaching into. So that
Hmm.
other fear is something that he can tap into and that he like it's like his thing now. So I I agree. Like it gets a little tired, but at the same time, he has some really fun shit in a lot of his movies that I think are like very creative and very original in between all of that like tropiness, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
I hear you. And like I said, showing my cards early, but this movie taking a not only taking a step away from that trope in his movies, but
Mm-hmm.
then also stepping away from the more obviously problematic stuff as he's essentially remaking or well remaking and expanding this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
um I think really results in, I don't know, results in good results. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say when I was looking through his movies, I was like, okay, I think my two favorites, I don't have them ranked, but I love Cabin Fever and I really like Hostel Part 2. Hostel is fine. I think it was just very different for people at the time. But I also love his cameo in Piranha 3D, which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
I really, really love that from Eli Roth because that's how I picture him to actually be.
Doesn't he the Show Me Your Danny DeVito's? Isn't that him?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay. I can.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to hop
Oh,
into
that's
this?
good. Yeah, let's do it.
So, like we'd said, Eli Roth definitely is plugged into the history of horror, especially,
Hmm.
you know, body horror and slashers. So, of course,
Yeah.
you start with this POV shot just out of Halloween. And if
Hmm.
anything, that cues you in because you realize that the perspective is
That's
Patrick
the
Dempsey.
yeah, that's your killer. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, that's your killer from the very get-go.
Yeah.
So I did
I
think that
like
was a
that.
cute little hint, like,
Uh-huh.
but then also at the same time, I'm like, if Patrick Dempsey's in your movie, he's only doing it to be the killer or be the opening kill. I feel like it's usually one or the other
Hmm.
with actors like that.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
So we've got two different Thanksgiving dinners going on. One is at Mitch and Amanda's house.
Hmm.
Um, Mitch works at Right Mart and he's got called in. Someone called out sick or something. They need more people. They're gonna be working at Right Mart, their version of
Hmm.
Walmart.
Yeah,
That's gonna be opening for the first time on Thanksgiving at 6 o'clock.
such bullshit.
Right Mart, owned by what's his name? Thomas Wright.
Hmm.
We also cut over to that family dinner at the same time. And it's the Wright family, which is like him, his new wife, Kathleen,
Hmm.
his daughter, her stepdaughter, Jessica, and Bobby, her boyfriend at the
Hmm.
time, and then some other like kind of just fucking full themselves rich fucks just laughing
Yeah.
about just making money and being dickheads.
Yeah.
I liked how also just totally not being fucking uh not obvious at all, right? But when Gina Gershon's the way you bake like that, you're not going to be single for long.
Yeah, okay. I have
Yeah.
yes, she does say that, and it's like very on the nose, but also like they have like no chemistry, and there's like no hint of any type of relationship happening except for that sentence.
They're doing a good job, right? If they're
Yeah,
keeping like this
no,
hidden
great.
romance,
No, great for them. Like, great job. But like, I would have loved like maybe just one long glance, just one, so that like you're like, huh, that was weird. And then that's it. Like, that would have been enough for me. I just thought it was like, I was like, gosh, I was like, I just don't believe that those two are into each other, but it's okay.
meanwhile, we're over at the Right Mart, where the crowd has gotten super huge. You only have two security guards, which we'll learn is not enough.
Not even close.
trying to hold people back.
Hmm.
People really want to get this fucking waffle maker.
I love that it's a waffle iron. I think that's a funny joke. Like,
I think so too.
and it's so true. Like the lines I've seen outside of Victoria's Secret on a Black Friday for a canvas tote. Like
I
you
thought you were going
could
to say a waffle iron. I was like, really?
waffle irons can be very sexy.
Is that Victoria's Secret? She makes good waffles.
Yeah.
The chaos is brewing. Um, we're back over at the Wright house. Bobby and Jess are getting picked up by their friends. They're going to go to a movie. Bobby, well, his arm's going to get broken to shit later, but it's they really lay it on thick that
Spoiler.
he's like a star
Ah,
pitcher.
they say it so many times. They talk
Yeah,
about his arm. You're like, something's going to happen to that arm. He's lucky it just got broken. I thought he was going to lose that arm.
no, 100%. Yeah, because it turns. Oh,
I don't like
it's good.
that. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think the practical effects in this movie and some of the gore and some of that stuff is pretty fun.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think
I will
that
say
there's a
that.
lot of fun kills too.
Yeah. So you're introduced to the friends. Okay, we're gonna see if I get their names right.
Okay,
So
I've got him.
you've got Evan and his girlfriend Gabby.
Hmm.
You've got Scuba.
Hmm.
You've got Scuba's girlfriend Yulia.
Hmm.
And yeah, you got Jessica and Bobby.
Yeah,
Am I
that's
forgetting
them.
anybody?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We got him.
So they're on their way to a movie. Evan's talking about how they got in a fight with some kids from Hanover, which is the other high
They
school.
fucking hate that high school, man.
I know. I don't think
Ooh,
I could possibly hate a rival high school.
that much.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Fuck TVHS. I hear
Well,
you.
obviously.
But obviously, but
We were like chanting it in the car.
yeah, like I don't think I've ever like actually even said that before, like out loud, like let alone chanting it from
Yeah,
a
until
car.
after high school, because then it just becomes something that's like fun. But like they're like wanting to like fight to the death is how much they hate each other. Yeah.
Evan must have broken his phone in the process, and apparently owes Gabby some makeup or something. So they're like, first of all, Gabby, are you buying your makeup from the Right Mart? Like, I feel
Yeah,
like
girl. She's in high school, but like if your boyfriend is buying you the lipstick, we're going to Sephora. We're not going to Right Mart. Come on.
100%. Like, how
Yeah.
much extra would it really cost at Sephora? I mean, I've never bought makeup before, but
It can be a lot. Yeah.
okay. Well,
You're looking at the difference between like 10 to 30, $50 it can be up to. Yeah.
okay, that's right. But hey, if your boyfriend's paying for it, then like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to
They're all
Sephora.
rich. They seem all like they're all rich except for Bobby.
I do hate all of these kids. Maybe
I
not
fucking
Bobby.
hate them. No, fuck Bobby. We'll get to Bobby. He can fuck right off.
All right. Okay, we'll get there. So, but even then, even like they're like, okay, Right Mart's gonna have everything we need. I'd be like, really? Like
Let's just
right
go anywhere
now?
else.
Like during like when this whole crazy shit's going on, like what the fuck, dude? If anything, we're gonna be in line for hours
Hmm.
over stupid shit. And I don't know.
She even says, she's like, we're going to a movie. Why do you need a phone? Like,
I did think it was funny because he was like, how am I supposed to text you through the movie?
yeah.
Just to demonstrate the kind of fucking asshole Evan is.
Yes. Yeah. Evan is terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. They make a pit stop for the phone and for makeup. They're going through, and Bobby's like a local celebrity because he's getting pulled over. People are taking pictures
Oh,
with him.
they love
Um,
him.
he wants to hang back. He was like, "This seems like a fucking mess. I'm just gonna hang back." And
Hmm.
Jessica like makes him come. She's like, come with us. You have to,
Yeah.
right? And of course, he's not gonna say
Yeah.
no.
She couldn't have known.
You're introduced to Ryan here as well. Ryan and
I'm
his like
Team
fucking
Ryan.
like I am not Team
I am
Ryan
Team
and
Ryan
his
all the way.
like David Schwimmer fucking vibe. Like, and I
Yes.
like David Schwimmer.
He
I
does have a
do.
David Schwimmer vibe, like a young David Schwimmer.
And like, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, and then also I'm like, show some respect, man. Show some boundaries, dude.
No, he's disrespectful in this scene especially, but once we get to later, then I'm like fully Team Ryan. And I'll share why.
Okay.
Not right now.
Okay. I was like, all
I'll
right,
wait
go
till it's
for it.
relevant.
All right. So Jess turns down Ryan. And then also him and Bobby have a little bullshit kind of,
Hmm.
fucking peacocking thing at each other.
Hmm.
So, like I said, Jessica's father owns the store, so they're able to just go through the back door and get free reign through the store, which I don't, yeah, I mean, guess I gets the owner's kid and her friends, because otherwise I'd be like, fuck these fucking kids.
Yeah.
Because not even that, they don't even go through. Like, they're throwing fucking footballs, they're instigating the people outside.
Yeah.
Like,
If they just respectfully just went in, bought the phone, got the lipstick, and were out the door, like that would have been that. Yeah.
100%. But they don't know when to fucking stop. And guess
Hmm.
what happens? The fucking led by the Hanover kid, like they
Hmm.
start fucking pushing through the barricade, and the one or two security guards make their way to the glass door.
Well, no, the one runs away right, like almost right away.
Well, the one guy runs away. Yeah. The other
Hmm.
dude is on behind on the side of the glass. He gets it
Yeah.
pretty rough.
I also think it's interesting, like the friend group is like yelling at the security, like just unlock the door, because they could see that they were like getting crushed against the glass. And I'm like, my ass would have been out right out the back where we came from. Like, I wouldn't be waiting for this to resolve. I'd be like, shit, we need to get the fuck out of here. This is about to get nuts. Like, why are you waiting? That really bothered me.
Because they're dumb fucking children.
Mm-hmm.
So with all this, yeah, it doesn't take long before all the glass starts fucking shattering.
Oh,
People start bursting through. That one security guard just being trampled, like with the glass
oh,
just digging deeper
yeah.
and deeper into him.
Oh,
He's still
God.
alive for
I
a
feel
while.
so bad for him. That's pretty rough.
Gina Gershon's death is probably the best one in
It's
this.
really fun.
I liked the guy who's getting pushed through the door frame with the jagged glass, slashing his throat.
And he still goes and gets the waffle iron.
He still throws his body on the waffle iron to claim one. I love that. And Gina Gershon, right, whose husband got called into work. She was escorted by Patrick Dempsey
Mm-hmm.
inside to give him some food. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, they get all caught up in this rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, when she gets like hit by the shopping carts and then her hair catches in it and it peels
Oh,
off that shit on her fucking face. Oh my God,
it's
that's so good.
so great. But like those two women that hit her with the shopping cart, like one, why isn't the other woman held accountable? And two, they don't even realize that she's on the fucking ground. Like they're so busy fighting. Also, someone takes the waffle iron from that dying guy who grabs the waffle iron.
It's pretty good.
And I'm just thinking to myself, how many of these people actually make waffles at home regularly?
Bobby is the only one of the friend group that tries to do the right thing and tries to help the security guard who's been trampled.
Yeah, he does. That works
So,
well for him.
So before you start throwing some fucking shade at Bobby, just want to remind you of that too. Um,
Okay, well, his character is about to take a huge turn after this, so we'll see.
and his moneymaker,
Oh.
that fucking right arm that struck out 19 fucks, like 19 UCLA fucks. Boo, oh, his arm just gets fucking put in a couple different places, just trampled over and over and over.
Wait,
And
is Bobby in college?
yes, Bobby's a freshman in college at this point,
Oh, he's a year older than them. Okay, that makes way more sense because they say a
maybe 2 years.
career ending like injury. And I was like, he's in high school. Why are they phrasing it that way? Okay, that makes way more sense. I didn't catch on to that.
Well, I mean, it could be career ending if it got fucked up enough to the point where like the
Yeah.
scar tissue comes back and it's just like you just can't throw
Hmm.
like you can throw anymore. Because he was saying he's
Hmm.
throwing fucking 96 heat in
I don't know what that
fucking
means.
as a freshman, 96 miles per hour, like fastball.
No, I
Like
I know, but like I don't know like what's fast and what's not. I mean, that sounds really fast, but
it's really fast. Yeah. I mean, you got dudes that throw 100 now, like kind of regularly, but even then, like a lot of those guys are relievers, so they can only go for so long. But yeah, fuck. So his arm is just fucked right the
he's
fuck
yeah,
up.
he's fucked.
Um, Obviously Mitch finds that Gina Gershon's like not
Oh,
doing okay.
yeah.
Oh, and then you have just trying to stop this chaos. And then we go right into the title card. Patrick Dempsey shoots a couple bullets up into the sky, get everyone to fucking stop.
I like that transition into the title card, him like shooting up in the air, telling them to stop, and then you have I like the font that they use for Thanksgiving. It's like bleeding. I thought that was
Me
really
too.
fun.
So we jump to a year later, but not much has changed. There were no arrests.
Yeah.
The security footage just magically disappeared. And Right Mart is opening on Thanksgiving Day again. Ugh, that'd be
I
rough.
don't I don't care how greedy you are. Man, I guess I shouldn't say that because I'm like, okay, they want to reopen again, and I know like these types of stores, they can make like over $100,000 like in a day. So if he's like making that kind of money on a Black Friday, then like if you're that greedy, like obviously they're trying to show how greedy they are, like maybe you would still open the next year and just be more prepared.
I guess I just wonder, like, if that's the only store in town that's like that kind of store, you know,
Yeah.
like how much money would you really lose if you waited until midnight? I even think
Yeah, that's
opening
true.
on midnight on Black Friday, I think is shitty too, to be
It is
honest.
shitty. Yeah, do an early morning the next day.
Sometimes I feel like fuck if you're gonna open at midnight anyway, might as well. I don't know.
Hmm.
Open at 6, but still at the same time.
Yeah.
And then also kind of fuck the Thanksgiving holiday anyway. So I'm really back and forth on whether stores should be open on Thanksgiving anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't want to lose the day off, but you're like, but we could lose the holiday. Like maybe we reframe it as something completely different.
And working in a movie theater, I worked on holidays regularly. And to
Yeah,
me,
that's true.
especially as a teenager, I was about that hustle. I was like, what do you mean you're gonna pay me time and a half? Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'll
can
be
do
there.
that.
Yeah.
Fuck my family. I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah. They're gonna give me leftovers either way.
100%. And I love you, Mom. You did always bring me sandwiches.
Oh, that's sweet.
I know. So let's see. Gosh, we're at the diner. We're also introduced to the new deputy here. I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
his name, but I'm just gonna call him deputy.
I don't know why they even like make a big deal of him like being like a new deputy, and I'm assuming just to have another suspect, possibly.
There are way too many characters in this movie, to be honest,
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot.
and too many survivors.
Yes. Yes.
Also, keeping in mind that the diner waitress behind the bar, her name is Lizzie, and she was very much involved. I mean, she was one of the two people pushing the carts that crushed Gina Gershon's head. So she is absolutely
Yeah. Did you
part of this.
did you recognize her the first time that you watched this movie? Like, did you realize that was the same character?
Yes.
I did not. So, like,
She's got a memorable face. I don't know.
I didn't think so at all. And then I was like, why is she getting killed? And then they like, I think they do a flashback or something or other at some point. And I was like, oh, that's why. But this time watching it, obviously I knew. But yeah, I felt kind of silly because I didn't recognize her at all.
I think before he was able to get like all the extra footage of what happened that night, I think he at least had like a picture of her looking right at the screen. So I think he was able to at least identify her.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that.
So Amanda's talking with Gabby. Evan's around. They're at this kind of like Thanksgiving outdoor kind of festival, and over by the John Carver house, which is a
Mhm.
national landmark. And she is filming a commercial with her family.
Hmm.
That commercial does not get filmed because they go to the John Carver house and realize that the house and the set, which was in the house, got
Mhm.
all fucked up. And there's an
Yeah.
axe missing.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Not a good sign.
Amanda's like, I'm just upset over this whole thing with, it being a year later. Y'all are still keeping the store open. She fucking hates her stepmother, Kathleen, who is now in this
You mean
commercial.
Jessica, not Amanda. Jessica.
Sorry, I'm gonna keep fucking that up. Amanda is Gina Gershon.
Yes.
Because I think I fucked it up in my notes too. So I said
Oh,
Amanda and
okay,
Dad
yeah. So
talk.
Jessica's our stepdaughter who hates her stepmom.
So she's upset that you know, they're having another sale. Dad's kind of like, again, kind of
Yeah.
sorry, not sorry. Like he likes his daughter. Just I think he's also, and he kind of explains later, not really explains, half explains why he
Yeah.
does the things he does and why
Hmm.
he's with Kathleen and this and this and that. But whatever, we'll get there.
He's lonely.
So, yeah. So the friends are back at the diner. Gabby, Evan, Yulia, Scuba,
Hmm.
Jessica.
Hmm.
Right. She thinks she might see Bobby like through the back
Hmm.
door, but like can't get a good look, but thinks she saw him. There's also a guy in a John Carver mask across the street looking at her through the window that you'll see at the end of
Yeah.
this scene. Also, we get our first Instagram tag,
Yeah.
which is it says like I think like the table is set. It
Yeah.
has kind of like a wide shot of a table. I don't think we at this point see the name cards on each of them having their names, but Jessica and her friends are tagged.
It is in that post. They just didn't notice it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, y'all, you can zoom in on those photos.
With, like I said, with that, the subject line, the table is set. You're like,
Hmm.
okay, what the fuck is this? Um, like Scuba's just like, I'm just gonna DM that motherfucker. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I think that's a little later on, but
Yeah.
Ryan also arrives, and we learn that a year later, Jessica's dating Ryan,
And they all fucking hate him
as
for
they
no
should.
reason. What is he doing wrong? Now he's doing nothing wrong.
Well, now it's like, I mean, like, so fuck those kids anyway, but like, also like, fuck Ryan. He's just like a different type of fucking asshole where he's this like, you know, fucking prep school wannabe fucking
That's true.
extra rich kid. Like in a group of rich kids, he is a rich kid.
True, but so is Jessica. Like, and also he seems to be treating her nice. Like, he didn't fucking just disappear like fucking Bobby after a traumatic event that he's like, oh, like I just blamed you for it all this time, but now it's cool. Like, no, that's not how that works. You can fuck right off, Bobby. Like,
Mm, we're not
oh,
going to agree on that one,
we're not
but
going to agree on it. Like, I would have been full on making out with Ryan in front of Bobby just to be like, yeah, fuck you for ghosting me. Yeah, I bad feelings towards Bobby.
I like that. We'll get there. One of my favorite things that Evan does, where he's just like on his phone because they all fucking hate Ryan, and he sits down.
Yeah.
Jessica's like, "Can you all still be nice?" And then like, she's like, "How are your papers?" And he's like, "Ah, probably gonna be swamped through Christmas." And then like Evan just like won't even look up from his phone. He's like, "Oh man, it sucks.
He's like, oh man, that's so crazy.
That's so crazy." Because I'm like, when I do not give a fuck about talking to somebody, and that's like, oh wow, it's crazy. Oh wow, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
When you're just like you have no fucking care in the world about this dude.
Oh, you say that to me all the time.
Yeah, well, that's because you are fucking crazy sometimes.
Fair.
But whatever, he buys them off with Pat Steelers tickets.
Yeah.
So later that night, we're back at the diner, we're still at the diner, I guess rather. And then we get to Lizzie's death.
Mm.
Rather than talking it all through, are there some favorite parts you like about this death scene?
I like Lizzie's whole death, actually. I love anything that has to do with, well, I shouldn't say I love, because like that feeling where like your skin or your tongue even is wet and then you touch something really cold. Ooh, I feel for her. That face rip, that's real nice. It's good. I feel like she deserved that, especially after what happened to poor Amanda. She also got her skin torn off of her, kind of her face, kind of her scalp. But I don't understand how the logistics, and I do like the chase part of it too, but I don't understand the logistics of her getting hit by the car on the dumpster and being completely split in half.
I don't understand the physics of that.
Yeah, like that doesn't really make sense to me, but I like the way it looks.
I love the way it looks. I love
Yeah.
and finding her, the bottom half of her on the next to the 50% off sign.
Yeah.
Evan makes that joke later. It's like, man, if we leave it up to the cops, we're all going to be 50% off. I
Yeah,
thought that
he
was pretty
does.
dumb, pretty
Yeah,
funny.
that is pretty funny. I do get sick of that the new trope of like how do we get around people always having phones on them where she's trying to open her phone and there's blood on both the phone and her hands and I'm like, "Girl, if you would have just taken a deep breath, paused for a moment and just wiped your hand and your phone on your shirt, you would have been fine. It's not going to recognize your face because it's all fucked up now, but like she could have just used her code with her fingers."
Loved that part. Like, sure, yeah, the blood, like whatever. But and I thought if it was just that alone, I would have been like, ah, whatever. But then
Yeah.
when she switches to the face recognition and
Hmm.
the phone's like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
You're like, who are you, Freddy Krueger? Like, get out of here.
Yeah, this is not Freddy Krueger's phone. But she could have just stayed in that office the whole time, and she would have been fine. She was next to a landline. I don't know if the forget the
Oh
wire was cut.
yeah.
So, but yeah,
Yeah. She's fucked.
um, yeah, she's fucked. And then they find her, some guts left over in the dumpster. You don't know where her top half
Mm.
ended up, but her bottom half is hanging up at Right Mart by the 50% off sign.
We do know where her top half ended up. It ends up at the dinner table.
Well, you're gonna find out scenes
Oh,
later.
okay. You mean
That's what I meant.
now. Okay, sorry.
But we do know. I'm like, yes, I know we fucking do. I'm just getting through the movie. So the police investigate that and then also find evidence of her death over also at the diner as well. They're just picking through little pieces of guts that ended their way in there.
Gross.
Um, they go through the security footage, the police do, and then find that it's a dude with a John Carver mask and a hat
Hmm.
who's been walking around doing this. So we know
Hmm.
what our killer looks like.
What do you think of that, like mask and just like overall appearance for like a slasher killer?
I mean, for a movie like Thanksgiving, I mean, it's fitting, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's pretty good. It's not
Yeah.
my favorite, but
Yeah, it's not, I feel like it's not like super scary or like silly. Like it's kind of just somewhere in between and it's
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like scared of
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and that mask by any means.
Hmm.
And there's nothing particularly like extra creepy. Like I think of like that baby plastic mask that the killer
Yeah.
wears on Happy Death Day. That's a
Yeah.
little more effective. Or
I
the
agree.
mask, like the plastic mask that they wear on Valentine. That
Oh
allegedly it's
yeah.
David Boreanaz.
Yeah, that baby face, that any baby faces I'm not really a fan of, no. And also like I think the killer's always less scary when they have a very specific group they're going after for revenge.
Yeah.
So because then you're like, oh, I had nothing to do with that. I'm good.
So we're at the school the next day. The kids get tagged by Carver again.
Oh.
And this is when they zoom in and realize, hey,
Uh-oh.
oh, fuck. Our pictures or, our names are on these, little
Mm-hmm.
place cards at each of the spots at the table. I did say that there are too many characters in this movie.
Hmm.
Um, we're introduced to McCarty here,
What is
who
his
is
deal?
this 35, 40-year-old
He's
guy
not that
who
old. You're such an asshole.
is he not? Is he not like in his 30s?
Oh, he's like she said one I think Gabby says to him like, "Oh, are you here to like finally finish the 10th grade?" So like I'm assuming he's older than high school age, but not like a full-blown adult. And he's like rolling about with his dad and stuff all the time. So like I'm gonna say homeboy's like in his early 20s.
All right, quick IMDb search. I can't find this dude's fucking birthday, so okay, whatever, dude. But he looks like he's 30.
He is not 30. I
Whatever.
I would like to believe that he's in his early 20s.
Her dad calls, or Jessica's dad calls her, and it's like, fuck, if you know anything, like, hey, they're asking questions. Can you head down to the police station? They think it's related to whatever happened a
Hmm.
year ago at Right Mart. So she goes to the police station, talks with the sheriff and then the detective. So there's like you're introduced to the sheriff, then there's the detective, and then there's the deputy. And then at least those are at least the three like named like police people you run
Yeah.
into. But again,
Why do we need all of them?
we do not need those other two characters. Patrick Dempsey could have just done all of that, you
Yeah,
know.
and just have random guys like throughout the movie, you know how he's like, okay, so we're gonna like have go through the back here and da 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 da. Like you don't need characters to just communicate that information.
So she leaves after, providing anything that she only had so much information, but she leaves
Mhm.
and now she runs into Bobby, who's
Mhm.
been turns out it's been in town for a little while. But she hasn't seen him in a year. He's completely
Mhm.
ghosted her. And now he's back in
Mhm.
town. He was at
Mhm.
school, but he's back in town, helping his dad's, tow truck situation. By the way, parents are not present here, except for the one smart one that's like, let's fly to Florida. But obviously that didn't work out.
Yeah. Oh, not quick enough though.
So they have their, hey, what the fuck happened to you conversation. And here's where I'm going to say, fuck Jessica.
Oh, go ahead. You make your case, and I'm gonna go right back at you with fuck Bobby. Go ahead, Kyle.
Okay. This is Jessica's fault. All of this is Jessica's fault. She let all of her dipshit friends into that fucking store. Bobby tried to say no,
Mm-hmm.
and she kept pushing. She was like, "No, come with me. I don't want to be alone."
He has fucking free will.
He has free will, but like if your fucking girlfriend like keeps like insisting you and giving those fucking eyes and being like, "Come on," like he's like, fine. Like, and also when shit was going down, he's like the only one that's trying to help anybody. The others aren't doing shit, right? Either looking out for themselves or Evan's just trying to film everything.
Mm-hmm.
If he just hadn't listened to her, if he just hadn't, what, both going in the store and then also like getting in harm's way, trying to help that dude that was already down for the count. But she told him, so, she causes all of this. I would be so fucking pissed and this whole thing's so fucking traumatic. I would say, I'm sorry, I can't talk to any of you. I need to go. I just need to fucking bail and go because my life is potentially fucking ruined now. And I don't even get like a fucking sorry. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry. How do you say you're sorry to someone who just fucking vanishes? You can't even have the opportunity.
You know what school he's fucking enrolled in. He's got,
Okay.
yeah, sure, he
Mm-mm,
cleared his
mm-mm.
socials, but whatever.
So many things. So, first of all,
Sure.
while while Jessica did pressure him to go into the store, one, I will back her up on that. Any fucking girlfriend would have been like, come on, you're coming. Like you're coming with me.
I'd be like, this is crazy. We shouldn't even be here right now. Look at
They
this
shouldn't
madness. Why
have.
are we even here?
She could never have predicted what would happen. Bobby decided to go fucking be a hero and try to save a guy that was already almost all the way fully dead. So that's on him. He made that decision. He made that decision. He has free will. Where he really fucked up, if he felt that it was Jessica's fault, he should have told her, you know what? This is your fucking fault. You ruined my future football career. Like, fuck you. That's what he should have done. And then up and left. No ghosting. Be your fucking like be a hero then, Bobby. Like use your voice. Don't just ghost her being a little pussy. Like get out of here.
Whoa.
And then he
Whoa.
comes back. Then he comes back. I'm pissed. Then he comes back and is like, yeah, like I blamed you for a really long time. And he's being like kind of flirty and kind of sweet. And they're like awkward and weird. And I'm just like, no, there's no romance left here. It's done. You left. Fuck off. How dare you be jealous that I'm now dating fucking rich boy Ryan? Like, yeah, absolutely. You're going to go to the complete polar opposite. I am team Jessica.
First of all, baseball career, not
Oh,
football.
sorry. Wrong sport. The other guys are football.
Second of all, even at the time, like even as he's trying to apologize, saying, it's not your fault, I could have stayed outside. I'm like, but someone fucking pressured me to do it. It
Oh
is
my God.
absolutely her fucking fault. And then also that coupled with having your arm destroyed, and also in a very traumatic event in which multiple people are dead. I just don't blame this guy who's like, what, 19, 20 years old for being like, I just need to bail. I just need to bail.
He could have just said that. Just, I need to get the fuck out of here. I can't be around you. That's all you
Well,
need to do.
clearly he didn't need
All
to
you
say
need to
much.
do.
He just left and she should have gotten
Yeah.
the fucking hint.
Well, obviously she did. She moved on. Good for her.
Like moved on to the other guy, the only other
Yeah.
guy in the parking lot that talked to her. Sure, whatever.
At least he's rich.
Okay. So let's keep moving.
We're
So
ending the podcast.
she also happens to reveal that there was footage from that night. It was all deleted by Kathleen,
Yeah.
who was just like, I don't want to be dragged into this any further. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
delete evidence. I don't care how illegal it is. But there is backup evidence or backup footage rather,
Hmm.
allegedly, on a laptop of her dad's, but that will automatically delete within a year. So she only has like a day or two to get that footage back off his laptop.
And let's also point out that Jessica shares this with Bobby, not having seen him in a year after he's completely broken her trust, and she still fucking gives him this information. Like, clearly, she was very in love with him and he just abandoned her. So, like, there's that too. You don't go back into complete trust with someone after not seeing them for a year without love.
Ryan arrives, and it's awkward, of course. Of course,
I
Ryan and
love it.
Bobby trade their bullshit, kind of misogynist fuckhead
Mhm.
shit to each other. Whatever. I really don't care about this Ryan Bobby shit, also
No.
because Jessica sucks. So I don't really care about any of them.
Yeah, no, they're all terrible. They're all terrible, honestly.
So next we've got the security guard that ran away, Manny, his
Yeah.
death. Um, what do you like about this death scene?
He's not my favorite death scene of this movie, but I do really like a clear view on a decapitation. Like that's really fun, and I think the amount of blood is really great. I mean, it's an okay kill, but what I think is really special about this is that he doesn't harm that cat. And in fact, he feeds the cat and gives it little head pets, which I thought was really cute. I was like, okay, so this is a person that does like have some bit of a conscience here. So I don't mind the security guard's death, but it definitely ranks pretty low for me in this movie.
He does kill innocent people in this movie,
Hmm.
but
Wait, which innocent people?
there is the police officer and Yulia's dad. They had
That's
nothing to do with
true.
this.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. He could have
Yeah.
just wait, he didn't tranquilize them though?
No, I think
I thought he tranquilized the security guard.
mm, it's on the when it said the maybe it's tranquilized them both, I guess. Because when I was watching the subtitles, it said like silent gunshots. So like I'm like, was that like a bullet being shot or was that like a
It was a silent gun, but when they walk in and they find the dad and the security guard, you can see that long piece
Oh, okay.
in his back,
Oh, so never
which
mind.
which is what he uses on them later to get them to the dinner table. So I'm pretty sure he didn't kill them.
Sure.
He
Okay.
has a moral compass. It's like a jigsaw situation where it's like you kind of just make your own rules.
I wouldn't say Jigsaw has a moral compass.
Well,
That'd be
no,
a
I'm
little
saying
much.
like he thinks he has like a moral compass, but really he's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, I like that he uses the turkey carver to kill Manny. I
Yeah,
like,
that's cute.
and then of course we always love a good beheading. We've been having a lot of good beheadings
Yeah,
in
it's
the
been
last few
a
weeks,
year
huh?
of beheadings.
Yeah. So then takes Manny's head, puts it on a plate,
Yeah.
takes a picture, and then also in the background you see the top half of Lizzie. There's where she is,
There she
and
is.
then he sends that picture to the kids.
I love that. I like the table setting situation. I think it kind of like scratches the itch of like the dinner party kind of setup.
Yeah. And you know me, I love a good dinner party.
We love a dinner party.
So let's see, where are we at? Jessica's looking through some footage. She does identify a few other people.
Mm-hmm.
One of them possibly being Ryan. Again, I knew Ryan's not the fucking killer. They just keep using him as a red
Yeah,
herring, even more
it's
so than
fine.
Bobby. They try to use Bobby as one, but
He's not
I don't
tall
know.
enough.
No,
Like
exactly.
Ryan's like the right height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you see him in the pilgrim outfit, in the hat and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Yes.
definitely your killer.
Yes.
So she has another moment with her dad here where he's like, gotta fill that hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. I think
That's why I
that
like
is
Kathleen.
a pretty half-ass apology, but at the same time, like as a teenager, I'd be like, "Fuck you, dad." As an adult, I'd be like, "All right, man. I get it." You know?
So her and Bobby take because now her and Bobby are also like working kind of like a side investigation here, which
Mhm.
Ryan notices and Ryan's not
Oh
happy
yeah,
with.
I'm not happy about
Yeah.
that at all.
They go back to the sheriff. They just start identifying everybody.
I
Which,
know.
oh man, when you know that it's
He's
Patrick
like
Dempsey.
making a list.
No,
Don't you
I
feel
love
though,
that.
like as a cop, like he had to have had like a few more resources that like he doesn't need these teenage kids. Like I get like that footage was the only thing that he had to work off of, I guess.
Guess so.
Yeah. Oh well.
Um, some of the people they identify are the Hanover kids, like the jock and the cheerleader, as
Mm-hmm.
well as the one kid that dresses up as the turkey during the parade.
Yeah.
So he's just like, oh, okay, new people I get to fucking murder. I love that.
Perfect. Yeah, he's like fantastic. We just made this list longer.
Yeah. So at the school, the kids are convening. There is some mixed suspicion towards Ryan, also towards Mitch, who
Mm-hmm.
has all the motive in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mitch,
He's too obvious of a suspect.
right. We didn't talk about him, what's happened to him since the year since this has happened, but of
Yeah.
course he's very, very angry at Wright Mart. He
Mm-hmm.
believes that they're all responsible. Thomas Wright and his whole family is responsible for, I guess, the death of Gina Gershon, but sure,
Yeah.
hey, he's upset. So I get
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, he's like picketing and doing all that. So that's his path now.
And the kids decide we need to stick together, but also that doesn't include Bobby, because remember, Bobby just showed the fuck up. Let's,
Mm-hmm.
especially as all this shit starts happening.
Suspicious.
Suspicious. Even though he's short, who knows? Maybe he's wearing some platforms or some heels and he's able to get through that way. I don't know. It's like how they put Tom Cruise next to Nicole Kidman, or like other like actresses and stuff that
Yeah,
are like, because he's only like 3 feet tall or something.
he's not that
But
short.
I think so. That dude has ultimate short guy energy because he's just like, how can I prove it? Do you need me to jump out of a fucking plane? Do you need me to
Yeah.
leapfrog off this fucking building with no restraints? I don't know.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, he's too much.
Got something to prove.
Ryan and Bobby, both suspicious in their own right. They're at
Mm-hmm.
the parade setup in that warehouse. We're going to be at this warehouse a couple times in this movie.
Yeah.
But again, they have their same kind of bullshit. I don't care. Could have deleted this scene entirely.
Mm-hmm.
They're just macho shit back and forth. But then we cut over to the Hanover High School where we've got this jock guy. I forget his name. Same vibes as what's his name? Lewis from Final Destination 3.
Oh yeah.
And these just like really just like aggro high school gyms.
Yeah, I don't like the negative reinforcement like for working out. Like he's like what does he say to him? He's like, "What are you, a bitch or something like that?" Like you like and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" Like tell him like you can do it, man. Like encourage him. Like why does it have to be so toxic?
Yeah, I like soft re-encouragement.
Yeah, don't yell at him.
Then we have their death. Any thoughts about this one?
The cheerleader and the football player?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't like the how quickly this moves for it being two people dying. And I know that they're not main characters, but like from the point that they like run off to this gymnasium that just has a trampoline under a spotlight, um, and their actual deaths, like everything happens really quickly. I like the head spinning happening quickly, even though it's a stupid death. But I wish that the trampoline situation would have lasted a little bit longer. Like I wish she would have gotten stabbed more. Like this movie's rated R. I feel like we could have dragged it out a little bit longer because I thought it was a fun situation. Didn't bother me that like it was still a little bit sexual with her like flashing her ass at him and stuff like that. Like that was fine. Glad that they shifted it
Me
in
too.
in a different direction. I don't think it needed to be that graphic. Like I like where it landed, but I would have liked to see more stabbing, more blood.
I mean, like in general, I'm always happy to see more stabbing, more blood, right? But I hear you. I think yeah, just making it far less sexualized, I think. I mean, I think one in a lot of ways makes it a more effective death.
Yeah.
Um, and then two, like I said, just less gross. So, I do appreciate that is some demonstrated growth from Eli Roth,
There
right?
you go. Yeah, like I mean it's been a long time since they made that, that trailer, so that's a change there. And there's no nudity in this movie. So, there's that. You don't
Yeah.
see that very often from him.
So, because of this death, the game's canceled. Evan's super pissed. He's like, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
go run off and play football by myself. And Scuba's like, how are you gonna do that?
Yeah, yeah. Scuba's like in the same boat as the audience. We're like, what?
I like Scuba, and Scuba's gonna start taking more of a
I
more
like
central
Scuba.
role
I
in
know.
this
I
movie.
wish I wish he would have been like really present through all of it because he's one of my favorites. But he starts to show up now. You did skip, I think, one of my favorite parts of this movie.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure it's already happened. There is when they're at the school, there's a cut of them like reading their Thanksgiving papers, their like essays. Did that already happen?
That's already happened.
Okay, that emo kid like reading his paper and saying like that's why I won't celebrate Thanksgiving this year or any year. And then he's like just so distraught he starts crying and he pulls up his shirt just to like show off his abs.
As he's like covering his, as he's like wiping his tears with his shirt.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I thought that that was a really funny joke. Like I really enjoyed it. So I had to give a shout out to that because I just thought it was really funny.
Good on him because it seems to work clearly.
It does, yeah. Like, and then they follow him even outside the classroom, like walking with the two girls. It's silly.
The one other thing to remember from this scene before we cut to the next one is you also have McCarty who is firing off a musket and he says like don't worry it's there's no ammo in here it's just
Hmm.
gunpowder whatever and Jessica has this side note of like oh yeah we had to use a musket and my dad wanted it to be really authentic so he made
Yeah,
me practice packing this musket over and over
yeah.
and over and over again which I'm like why was that part of the commercial her packing the musket herself
I guess
like
so.
to make it
Like
authentic?
we knew
I guess.
we knew that would come back around.
So Chekhov's musket there.
Hmm.
Um, now they go back into the school, Evan, Gabby, and Jessica, who follows them.
Hmm.
Evan and Gabby are like, oh no, we'll be back. We're just gonna head this way for some reason. They vanish. They end up getting kidnapped off screen.
Surprise, surprise. Like, why are you
Right.
going into an empty school? Like, have a police officer escort you. They're just hanging out outside.
I personally don't prefer police in schools, but I guess if
No,
you,
but
I don't
in
know.
that situation where there's like actually someone hunting you, and even like Jessica just sitting on the steps, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna go sit outside just next to the armed men. Like, I don't know. I would feel safer. She's just sitting there, not looking around, just not a care in the world. Like, they're all fucking stupid.
Agreed. Now, this leads us into our high school chase scene.
Hmm.
I thought this was mostly pretty okay. I thought it was fine. I did like, of course, going through the like the hairdressing room with like all of
Yeah, I
like the
like the
mannequin
heads.
heads and stuff. I
Mhm.
thought that was pretty fun. I liked
That
all of
is
that.
fun. Yeah, I agree. I think there's just this what bothers me is leading up to the hairdressing room where she's texting Gabby and calling out to her and she's not answering. Like if there's a situation where I'm like, Kyle, Kyle, and you're not answering, I'm not coming. Like you're not there or something's wrong. And she can hear her phone beeping or like dinging, and she still proceeds to walk that way, even though she's not answering her. Like, that is highly suspicious. She's fucking stupid. Then she falls for the trap of the phone being in the hamper and goes to reach for it. No, no, absolutely not. You walk your ass right back the other way. You don't touch that phone. You don't go near it. Get familiar with your surroundings. That that was one of the things that really fucking bothered me when I first saw this movie. I really hated that. But I the hairdressing room does make up for it a little bit.
For someone who's Team Jessica, you really talk about how fucking dumb she is.
Well, I mean,
And
they
I
all
agree.
suck. They all suck, but like she is stupid. Yeah.
I think Scuba sucks the least.
He does suck the least. Actually, I can't think of anything. Does Scuba do anything wrong?
Well, I mean, he also like gets in like those fights with Evan and stuff, and it's kind of a bro. It's like maybe
That's true.
Yulia and Gabby aren't so bad.
Yeah, they're kind of just in this just to die,
Yeah.
or Gabby doesn't.
Jessica's able to escape from John Carver here out of the
Mhm.
school. She's being comforted. She's in the back of the ambulance. Police are there. Um, both, again, are red herrings. Both Ryan and Bobby very conveniently show up right after
Love
from
that.
different directions.
Yeah, I love it.
Um, and
Did you,
then go ahead.
sorry, did you notice? So Bobby runs up and like immediately like puts his coat over Jessica, like, trying to like warm her up or whatever. And then as soon as Ryan gets there and she walks over to hug him, as he's hugging her, he just pushes the coat just right off of her to the ground. That's another like it's little things like that in this movie that I really love, and I just wish there would have been like more of those things because it like tonally goes back and forth quite a bit.
Yulia's dad arrives because I mean, like Yulia, Gabby, and all of them are like there, like comforting
Mhm.
Jessica after this chase, and then also, well, actually, no, Gabby's not there because she's gone. So is Evan. This is when Yulia's dad shows up. Finally, a parent shows up and says,
Yeah.
"Nope, we're going to Florida. We're getting the fuck out of here right
Yep.
now. If you are somehow involved, even if you're not, if all this shit's going
Good,
around, I am good. Let's get out of here."
good call.
And he's right.
Yeah.
So Jessica and Scuba, for different reasons, I don't know, don't have that option.
Yeah.
So we need to go get a gun.
Yeah.
So let's go to McCarty's party,
The McCarty
where he
party.
says he doesn't sell guns to teenagers, but yes, he does. He
It,
absolutely.
the party situation is so weird. I
It's so
don't
weird.
understand the purpose of it, like in the grand scheme of things. Like I get that like they could have just introduced this guy as like a like okay, like he sells drugs, he sells guns, like
Local
he'll buy
dealer.
alcohol. Yeah, like just have that be the case. Like this whole party, like the selling of tickets and the guy who writes the papers, like the kid that writes the essay for Evan is also this guy's like assistant. And I'm like, that those aren't the same two kids. Like that they put together like one character. Or like they put two characters together in one, it feels like.
And that's already in a movie where there's way too many characters. I don't know if I could handle them
Yeah.
being two different characters.
Yeah, no, I agree. So maybe that's what happened. They were just like, we got to cut at least one out.
Because remember, like Ryan also has that like super short friend that's like kind of nerdy with the beard and glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Okay.
He's like making fun of him for not having a shot with Jessica at the beginning.
Oh
Like
yeah,
there's
and he
so
doesn't
many
fit in
extra
anywhere.
people.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
need to do that.
So they get this gun from McCarty. And like I said, I kind of like him a little bit because
I
like
don't
his
dislike him.
his character makes no sense, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like he has such like a like almost a kind heart too, so, as
He does.
well.
Like he's like, I'm gonna swindle these kids and get them to pay to come to my party for alcohol. But you know what? They need protection. So I'm gonna give them guns. I'm gonna like give my dad's ring to protect herself. Like, yeah, he's kind of the father of the group, but is not 40.
So when Jessica and Scuba are on their way back from getting this gun, Scuba's real excited. He calls up Yuli. He's like, "Guess what? I got a gun." Really excited about this. And Yulia is getting ready and getting packed for her flight, either that night or
Hmm.
the next morning, going to Florida.
Oh, it's that night. The dad says the car is on its way. Hurry your ass up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
He means
I love
business.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
But turns out, ugh, too late, my guy,
Yeah, not soon enough.
because John Carver's already in the house. And then
Hmm.
turns out I thought he killed both the cop and the dad, but turns out
No.
no, he
Yeah, I think they're
tranquilized
okay.
both of them. Yeah,
Hmm. I love this whole sequence of at Yulia's house.
me too. Let's get into it. I
Yeah.
think it's not the kill itself, but the corn cob thing was fucking great.
Ooh.
Oh,
And like, if they weren't for the trailer, because the trailer teases the corn cob thing, which I think is really fucked because it's such a like think how shocking that would have been if you hadn't seen the trailer. Like it would have been real fun. And because they try to throw you off because they keep showing her putting her contacts in, which I hate watching people do. My mom wore contacts when I was a kid, and I hated seeing her put her finger like towards her eyes.
ooh.
But you kind of think something's going to happen with her eyes because of that. And then that corn cob thing, it's just short enough that it's not going to kill you, but long enough that it's going to deafen you and fucking hurt like a bitch, I bet. Oof.
Oh, and just when all the sound just goes out and you just hear ringing like in the ears.
Oh, I feel for
That's good.
her. Oh, it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair for her to get that.
And for all of that to be like she's still FaceTiming with Scuba and Jessica, so they're
Oh,
watching all of this
that's
happen.
terrible.
So they haul ass, U-turn, go towards Yulia's house.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck. Little too late because I mean they get there before Yulia's killed, but
Hmm.
they get there, see the people knocked out in front. They go to, and also this house is like under construction heavily. So there's a lot of tarp, there's a lot
Yeah.
of you know, home equipment, things like that.
Hmm.
And of course this table saw.
That should not have been out.
I know. Yulia's got don't they like make like some sort of like a sleeve or a cover for that sort of
Oh,
fucking
for
thing?
sure. There's like
Come on.
there's a cover for it that you put like on top
That's
of it.
smart.
Yeah. Yeah. For this reason specifically.
Okay. Because it kept happening. Kept
Yeah.
throwing fucking teenage girls on this thing.
Yeah.
So, oh man. Yeah, that's a rough death too, because she just falls right on it and she just,
Oh, and after her ears, this poor girl, that sucks.
yeah, that's rough. And again, I like Scuba
I
because
know.
I feel so bad for this guy. His reaction, I mean, I feel bad for
So
Yulia,
real.
but it's like he is just shocked. He's like
Yeah.
holding his girlfriend with her entrails all over the fucking place. He's
They
turning to
look good
Jessica.
too. The
They look
entrails
really
look
good.
good. Yeah.
And he's just turning to Jessica, being like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
So sad.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
that's like actually, but that's what I'm saying. Like from once you get into Yulia's house, like that's a really good sequence. And it's like, again, there's things like this in this movie where I'm like, wow, like that is a really like strong scene. And then you'll hop to the next scene and you're like, what is happening now? Like, what is this? So it's really up and down.
So the dad finally is like, maybe let's push it till midnight.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
he says like maybe like I'm closing the store, I'm not having the opening. But like he doesn't say like, okay, we're just not gonna open. Like he's like
No.
probably thinking like, no, we'll push it back to midnight. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Or
Uh,
maybe we'll push it to like 9 o'clock. How's that sound?
Not cool, man.
While, they're back at the right house, Kathleen's just like, I don't want to get dragged into this any further. She's had nothing to
Hmm.
do with this so far.
Hmm.
It's coming, Kathleen.
Yep.
But again, this happens. Well, honestly, in a lot more like teen and kid movies. But this like kid has this idea, and like all the adults are like, "Yes,
Yeah.
this is safe. Let's get behind this. She's got a point." Of course,
Bait.
like, of course, like, the sheriff is like thinking like, "This is fucking stupid." I'm gonna
Yeah.
fucking take these kids. But all right, sounds good. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's a fun part of it too, because he's like, okay, like I'm into this plan. Like, but like he knows, like, okay, I'm just gonna have to pivot a little bit now. Um, yeah, I wonder, it happens so often in movies. I wonder how often in real life cops are just down to use people as bait, like for these
Probably a
types of
lot.
situations. Yeah, I'm like, does this happen often? I've never been faced with this problem.
So they want to try to set a trap for John Carver here at this parade using the family as bait on this float. And they think that because it starts at the warehouse and ends at the warehouse, that they'll like be able to like trap him in the warehouse afterwards. I guess all the cops are going to be waiting there. I don't know.
Yeah, because they think that the killer will think that's an opportunity to catch them all alone.
Sure.
Sure.
They're setting up for the parade. Everyone's getting dressed.
Mhm.
Um,
You'd think this parade would be
McCarty,
canceled
you would think so, with so many
with a,
people dead.
yeah, and a Thanksgiving themed killer. Like, I'd be like, does this seem appropriate?
They cancel a football game for one dumb little football player
Yeah,
dead. Well, I guess a
one
cheerleader too.
one missing cheerleader and
Right.
football player.
Yeah, they shut down school over one ripped up trampoline.
Yeah. Woohoo.
McCarty, because he's also part of like the parade, and he's
Yeah.
him on his float, like shredding that guitar solo. Love it. But he does give her the ring here that his
Yes.
dad wore in Iraq. He tells a story like his dad's dead, but his dad's like literally standing
He's
right
right there.
behind him.
Yeah, his dad could have handed it to her directly.
It reminds me sometimes when like this would happen like when I was a kid when I'd get my hair cut and my mom was like settling up, like paying for it or whatever. And then there was when, she would like tip the barber or the hairdresser, she would like hand me the few dollars and be like, hey, go say thank you. And I would run
Yeah.
over and say, like, oh, here you go, thank you. So it just reminds me
Oh,
of
that's
that.
cute.
So I'm sure the
Yeah.
dad is telling this his 40-year-old son, hey,
He's not 40.
you should give her this ring. I think that'll be helpful for her. No, it should come from you. So he's like, oh, okay, dad, I'll go do that. And then hands her this ring, which I don't think they know at the time that it has a little sharp thing that sticks out.
Yeah, she
But
doesn't seem to because he just says for luck. But like, I probably would have shown it to her and been like, it has a switchblade. Just FYI.
yeah, he was like, oh, it got my dad through some hard times in the Iraq War. I was like, did
He
you
said it was
like
good luck.
slit people's throats with that thing?
Yeah, I bet
Like,
he did.
how many people have you killed with this little ring? Oh my gosh. So now we're at the parade. Very much, I'm not at all the first person to say this, but absolutely, I know what you did last summer vibes with the
Oh, for
Croker
sure. Yeah, I
pageant and
wrote
all
I
of
wrote
that.
that down. Yeah.
And then now it's like not people in fisherman outfits that are walking around that you can't tell
Mhm.
who's who, but it's a bunch of people all wearing John Carver costumes
Yes.
walking through and you don't know who's who. That's why I'm like, why would you use this parade? Like you like if you are trying to trap Waldo, why would you put yourself in a Where's Waldo scenario, right? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like that's really not going to help you narrow down suspects. And I think the funniest part of all of that is that he's not even in that fucking costume.
Right, exactly. Like how nobody notices like it's this dude in a clown
A
costume.
scary clown costume. But you know what? I didn't notice him the first time I watched this movie, or when I was watching it the second time, I didn't notice that he walks by the frame like behind the turkey before
Hmm.
the killing and then circles back around. So when I was writing notes, missed that piece and then rewound and watched it again and I was like, "Oh shit, there's the clown there." I really liked that you get to see him like ahead of time, and he just kind of fits in because it's all parade chaos.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
Yeah,
it is wild that all of this is orchestrated by one guy.
I know. I feel like he should have had a partner.
not just this scene, but the whole movie, really.
You know what would have been fun if it was him and Mitch.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
if you're going for that,
why
like,
not?
scorned love thing, at least they were like, Mitch would be like, wait, hold on, what? You were doing what with
Yeah.
my wife? But then I'd be like, no, hey, look, we're both in love with her. Let's put our resources together,
Yeah, there you go.
you know. Speaking of Mitch, him and some of his buddies do protest and interrupt the parade, which just
Hmm.
caused at first like a little bit of confusion, but that's that opening, right? For
Yeah.
the actual John Carver to show up and just decapitate the fuck out of the kid that's wearing the
Hmm.
turkey costume. That that shot is in that original Thanksgiving trailer from
That exact
2007.
shot.
Not that exact shot, but like, this the exact same costume walking through the Thanksgiving parade and then someone coming up with an axe
Mm,
and chopping his head off.
that's fun.
So, decapitates the turkey, the chaos ensues, and then throws some like gas bombs or gas grenades or
Yeah.
whatever. Throws one of those, I don't even know, like what do you call that? It's like a that deafening thing
Oh,
that he
a flash grenade.
a flash grenade, sure.
Hmm.
And just makes everyone all delirious and shit.
Hmm.
And then
Smart.
I don't know, somehow you ended up with, yeah, all four of them sitting in the back seat all together in this car. You've got Kathleen, you've got Thomas, you've got Jessica and Scuba.
They were trying to escape in the truck. So they all
Yeah.
like lined up in there, and then that's when he like gets them.
I did like the kill of
Oh, the
the
grandpa
the grandpa. Is it the one that gets the pole right through his
just
fucking
fucking
head?
impaled through his face. Yeah, and what like great work
But
with the nose like
yes,
hanging off the side. I had to like pause and then go back because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love the way that nose looks. It's so fucking gross and good."
the blood just splattering on the children
Mhm.
sitting
Oh
next
my
to
gosh,
him.
they're like grandpa. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Yeah. And like stuff like that, I feel is where Eli Roth can be like edgy and push boundaries and like for me at least, like I think that's a fun way to be like kind of offensive to maybe people who don't love horror. You know what I mean? So he's pushing boundaries with stuff like that, which I think is cool. But like that's a good example of like good job. You did it right there. I like that kill a lot. And it's also just super random. I just wanted to add a fun something else in there, I think.
So he shoots the tranquilizer darts in Kathleen Thomas, Jessica, and Scuba.
Hmm.
Next scene we get to is Kathleen waking up.
Oh, Kathleen.
I this whole thing's great.
It's
I
so
like this.
good. I
This is
love
I like
everything with
this
Kathleen.
I like this chase scene much better than the one at the school.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and fuck, Kathleen gets so close. He almost makes
Oh,
it out.
she does a good job. Like I was really impressed with how scrappy she was. And yeah, I like her whole chase. Um, I love when she finds the cheerleader in the fridge and she's still alive.
Still alive.
That's really fun too. Like that was a fun surprise that I didn't see coming. But like ultimately, like that bitch still gets cooked in that oven. Like, and it's fantastic.
It's good. I don't know if it's the worst death of in the movie, like the most like painful death, but ooh, that's a rough one.
It's the most gruesome, like seeing her body afterwards and all of that, which like we'll get to later. Um, but for how like meticulous this killer is, like he puts that plastic mask on top of the oven, and I'm like, really? Like you're gonna like start a fire right now? Like that's a fire hazard. I didn't like that.
And then the mask melting, I'd assume is like a foreshadowing that
Yeah.
because I would not be shocked if, say, in the sequel, which a sequel is happening,
Yeah, he's
um,
definitely still alive because we didn't find a body.
and I think just like the John Carver mask, I bet Dempsey's like face is going to be kind of fucked up and melted off in the
Yeah.
explosion at the end.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh, that's fun. I didn't think about that. The like little foreshadow. Good call, Kyle.
the police pick up a live stream of the everybody who's been kidnapped and the people that have already been murdered at this dinner table. Um, but the stream is coming from the wrong place. I don't know. No, the
It's
stream
a
was coming
trick.
from a camera that was filming a monitor.
Hmm.
So the police end up going to the wrong spot. They
Smart.
think it's at Cordage Park. Turns out in their tunnel system, turns out it's actually been in the John Carver house the whole time, which feels
Hmm.
very on the nose, right?
Yeah.
Jessica wakes up, and then we are at this dinner scene.
Ah, love the dinner.
Yeah. And Kathleen is what's for dinner. When they put her on the
Oh,
table,
she looks so good.
my favorite one, she looks good. And like, when Thomas is like vomiting through
Oh,
like his
with the
gag.
gag. Oh, that's the worst. Oh,
Yeah.
that's grosser than Kathleen's turkey body. Him
100%.
vomiting with a gag on. Because now he has that vomit just soaked into that gag in his mouth the entire time. Oh,
Oh, oh,
so
it's
bad.
rough. Then we do have our next death, which is Evan. Love a good
Hmm.
head smash always.
Oh, he
And then
gets
also,
smashed.
fuck Evan. Like of all the
Fuck
kids,
Evan.
he deserved to die the most.
Because he was being exploitative with that video.
100%.
I do love the video. We never mentioned that, like the editing that he does, and then at the end it says like RIP to the victims. Yeah. the, the
Like and
stupid,
subscribe.
the stupid horn. Yeah.
I know. So he's going around the table, and then of course, like this is where you get at least the first part of the motive, or at least why he's targeting each of them.
Hmm.
That you are shitheads, you were involved in what happened, and I'm gonna go around the table and just I want to hear what everyone is thankful for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes to Evan, just starts smashing his head open again. He's also live streaming this too,
And
so
people are liking it. Who are these people?
I think that's great. Yeah,
They're like,
people
fuck
who are
Evan.
like, yeah, people are like, I've been following this. Evan's a fuck. I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
like on that one. There's nothing illegal about hitting like on a live stream of someone's head getting bashed in.
I guess
So
that's true. I didn't think about that.
I'll hit that heart and throw a couple ghost emojis. Jessica, meanwhile, has this ring still that she got from McCarty.
Hmm.
And man, that's a good fucking ring. And that's real sharp because she's able to cut right through that very quick and then also
Yeah.
hand the ring over to Scuba,
Yeah. Very
who
good.
has to me. I would have like held onto that ring and squeezed the ring and it like would have like stabbed me because I have no idea there's a little knife in there.
Yeah, she doesn't know there's a knife. That's why I said, like, tell her, give her a heads up.
Yeah. So Jessica's able to break free. Same with Scuba.
Hmm.
And they start fucking running.
Yeah, were they just gonna leave the dad and Gabby behind? They're like, deuces.
I would if I could get out. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just fucking run. Sorry, I'll try to get help.
Wow.
They they run out. They're being chased by John Carver. They realize that they're in the Carver house at this point.
Hmm.
Jessica's able to get out and she starts running. Scuba is trying to fight back a little bit. He does get axed a little bit in the arm.
Hmm.
I think this is the last we see of Scuba. He's still alive though, but and he's like, like run, 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 and he's down. But Scuba doesn't die because John Carver needs to start fucking running because he needs to also
Hmm.
get Jessica, who's out and fucking
Yeah.
gonna go run and try to get
Yeah.
help. So Jessica's able to hop over the fence. Her mom's bracelet that we never mentioned yet,
Hmm.
caught. I mean, it's mentioned in the movie, just we didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Kind of gets caught on the fence. She's able to get it off and go, and she thinks she's in the clear. She gets through the woods and then sees Patrick Dempsey in his cop car parked in the middle of the street, but
Yeah.
Dempsey's on the floor or on the ground,
Hmm.
knocked out.
Yeah, I didn't understand the timing on that.
Me neither.
Because the way that he tells the story later, it doesn't quite line up for me, but whatever.
100%. That's why I'm just like, I think I would have. It's I don't think it's like ripping off Scream to have two killers. I mean,
Yeah.
necessarily. Like is if it because it does make sense. That's why I liked Scream so much. When you find out there's two
Hmm.
killers, you're like, oh, that's what makes sense. Because the whole idea is like, how does Jason get from here to here so fucking quickly?
Yeah, they could have even done like a reveal at the end. Like maybe Patrick Dempsey doesn't make it, and then you find out that there's another one that's still alive. And I just keep thinking it's Mitch, even though I don't think that would work out. But I think that could have been a fun little twist.
being Ryan at the end. I believe that.
Yeah.
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 So she also sees a figure go inside this warehouse. And we're
Mm-hmm.
back. We've circled back to the warehouse where
Mm-hmm.
the parade floats are. She sees a figure go inside. She thinks it's John Carver. She grabs the sheriff's gun, goes inside. Now she finds Bobby rooting around in there, and she is about to call out to Bobby. If she
Mm-hmm.
only had, Bobby would have explained it's the sheriff, because at this
Yeah.
point, Bobby knows that it's him because the sheriff had tried to attack Bobby.
But Bobby was wearing the John Carver costume, so
Right.
she like was like, "Oh, clearly it's him," even though he's like 5'5", like, and the killer has been like six
Yeah.
feet all along.
So before she's about to call out to Bobby or maybe try to shoot him, um, the sheriff does come to and it's like, hey, hey,
Hmm.
hey, 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 give me the gun. I'll go after him, you
Yeah.
know. So he goes, and then off screen, you hear some gunshots,
Hmm.
but you have no idea what actually happened. He comes
Yeah.
back out and he's like, yeah, I think he got away. I think I shot him, but pretty sure he got away.
Hmm.
I'd be like, this movie needs to be almost fucking over, right? At this point, because I'm like, the
Yeah,
cops are back
seriously.
in, they're debriefing the scene, and you're just
Yeah.
like,
Did you suspect that it was him the whole time?
from the beginning, definitely.
You did? Okay.
But it was one of those things where, like, not necessarily because the character gave it off, but
Process of elimination, I guess.
if it wasn't someone so well known in that role,
Hmm.
maybe. But like, I was expecting it to be Dempsey kind of from the beginning.
I think I was too, but and also his character's so nice. Like he's like the nicest person in the whole movie. So like that also was very off-putting.
They even mentioned in conversation earlier, I think like maybe Yuli or Gabby say like, hey, the nice ones are also the crazy ones. They just hide it
Yeah, that's
better.
true. Hmm.
Yeah. So they say though, the detective is kind of debriefing the situation. They take Jessica's phone and put it in an evidence bag and just leave evidence just sitting on in little evidence bags just sitting on a pile on that
Yeah.
desk. And they're like, we're just gonna go. We're gonna
Yeah.
try and find
Just leave
Bobby,
it
but if
there.
you want, she's like, hey, I'd like some space to chill out if that's okay. And they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
We'll leave you with this evidence.
We're not like actively chasing a murderer that you have all this information on. Sure, okay,
Yeah.
but
That's also after you and could be anywhere.
now when the sheriff comes back, she notices, hey, bro, you got some mud and some forestry clumps. Whatever you fucking call those little things, those little spiky pinny things that stick to your clothes.
I don't know
Those
what those
are
are called.
those are all on your ankles, my guy.
Yeah, like she's like, "Oh shit, we both have these on our pants from our run through the woods."
Right.
So, and then they do that whole like flashback montage of him saying like, "Couldn't have done this without you," and like it's all in the details. And I was like, "We get it. Like we don't need this."
I did like the edit just reminding her, like, again, just like the incident from the beginning, this is all your fault. You are so dumb, and you have just
She is
caused.
dumb.
Yes. This is when he reveals himself as the killer, right?
Mhm.
And he gives his whole motive.
Ah, I love it.
And Natalie, this fucking motive.
Oh, this is where this shit gets real interesting.
Like, I mean, I guess it would be too basic and too simple for it to be like some sort of like anti-capitalist message or like
Yeah.
something like that would be like the motivation.
I think
Um,
that would have been pretty dumb too.
right. So who knows like what would have been a more satisfying reveal. I mean, I guess I like the ridiculousness of this, even though it is also very basic. The idea of because of all of this, someone I love is dead,
Hmm.
and it's revenge, simply revenge.
Yeah. Which is what you would expect, I guess, because, like other than the anti-capitalism, like what else could it be? But I think it is, them trying to, yeah, like I'm just really trying to formulate like why this is so dumb. I mean, there's a huge reason why it's even dumber, but like
Yeah.
it's just for him to like kill all of those people. Like, why couldn't you just kill the two ladies with the grocery carts? They're the ones who killed her directly. I get that there's a bunch of people who are responsible, like from just a domino effect of events. But if you're looking up how old Gina Gershon is, she's 62.
Look, I want to preface this. I really do not mean this in an ageist way.
Nope, nope.
Anyway,
Say the
whatsoever.
same.
Um, and if anybody has a uterus capable of healthily producing a child, a strong, vibrant child, maybe it's hers. Maybe it's Gina Gershon's.
Maybe it is.
Now, there's a few elements of this. Like, first, okay, let me start over here.
Yeah.
One, the revenge part about her dying
Hmm.
would have simply been enough,
It would have been enough. Absolutely. I agree.
but that's not enough.
Nope.
He has to, you have to also have the reveal by showing this ultrasound picture of a like fully formed fetus. Like, this isn't even like
That's
like
that
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 is a head.
baby is going to be born any day now.
So she's not showing at all in the beginning, but this baby is supposed to be like a fully formed fucking fetus
Yeah.
inside her
Yeah.
womb right now. And so there's that. That's where it gets super ridiculous, where it's just like,
Yeah, like
also, wasn't even just my wife, it was a baby. You killed a
yeah.
baby.
And does Eli Roth have children? Because I feel like he would have noticed that that sonogram was a little too late in the pregnancy for us to not notice that she was pregnant.
To be fair, and I can't speak. I want to say when this movie came out, I took a little bit of umbrage with that, being like, hold on,
Mhm.
like I'm sorry, 62 years old.
Yeah. Maybe she's playing younger. I don't know. Like she looks younger than 62, but
Yeah.
no mention of their age comes up. And Patrick Dempsey is around the same age. He's only like 4 years younger than her.
And even then, like if she's playing young, she still looks like she's in her 50s,
Exactly. Yeah.
which at the time, now I believe at the time of this movie's release, Gina Gershon's character would have been the oldest woman to have ever given birth if she'd carried the full term.
What is the oldest actually? Obviously you
Now,
looked it up.
funny enough, the oldest recorded mother to date, 74 years old.
Shut the fuck up. No
Yeah,
way.
check this out. 3 weeks after this movie comes out, like December 1st, 2023.
That's incredible.
So you think this
Oh my
woman watched
God.
Thanksgiving and she's like, I can do that. I can do better. Because I want to say, I think she gave birth to twins.
Wow. Okay, so it was like probably IVF.
So no, no, I think she can like, I don't,
At that age with twins? Most likely.
74, I mean, she might still have sex.
No, I mean, she could still have sex.
But oh my gosh, I was like, so
What a
yeah.
world.
But yeah, no, she was 70 or 74. Yeah.
Damn.
But or no, okay, so never mind. So there are some people 74 years old, but yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
So here
No.
I have to eat my hat here because I was going to say 62. Come on, but hey, you know what? Maybe
So what so fine, maybe it's possible, but that still that sonogram is not that's not right the right timing.
yeah, she would be absolutely showing at this
Yeah,
point,
she'd
right?
be full on like pregnant looking. Yeah.
So whatever, he gives his motive, and I'm like, all right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
So Bobby, throws something through the window, breaks in, able to cause some chaos. She's able to escape with Bobby, who we now at least assume is not a killer or one of the killers.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his tow truck inside. Let's go. She can't get into the side door, so she hops on the back, finds that musket. Remember that
Yeah,
musket? Remember from earlier?
I don't know if science would back up what happens in this scene. Am I wrong for thinking that?
No, I don't think so. But they had to fucking end the movie somehow. When they're running, they also like turn on like a gas or propane tank that also fills
Uh-huh.
up this turkey balloon.
Well, that would need to be helium.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
I
be
guess helium,
gas. Yeah. So I'm like, is helium like that explosive? I don't know. I'm actually asking.
right? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, it can be.
I mean, that just seems really dangerous because they use those for like Thanksgiving Day parades, like the Macy's, fucking thing that they do every year. So any random asshole could just shoot one of those balloons and it would just fucking explode.
Just blow up that fucking Pikachu at the Macy's Day Parade.
Like
Yeah,
that seems way too dangerous.
a little bit. So they're trying to leave in this tow truck. They can't make it far because also Dempsey just like, here, dude, I'll just hook this cable in the back. All right, you
Yeah,
all can't go
smart.
anywhere. Have fun driving a tow truck, idiot. Try towing that. Granted, yeah, it all solves itself pretty quick because
Yeah,
remember, she can pack a musket. So
we
she
know
does.
that.
And one thing I did skip over, this is when um Dempsey does say the money line, which I think he lands it okay, when he says, hey, sorry, Jessica, tonight there will be no leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not as cool when she says it back to him, like not that
No,
long
no.
later. Doesn't have the same kick. I think she could have come up with something cooler to say. But she does shoot the musket over his shoulder to blow up this turkey balloon
Yeah.
and then somehow like also explodes the cable that's holding the tow truck
Yeah.
in place. They were able to escape,
Hmm.
and they say no one could have ever survived this explosion. He must have been completely incinerated because they never find Patrick Dempsey's body
Yeah.
either.
They're like, everything's just ashes, so we're probably all good.
The leftover kids that are alive, which is what,
Lots of
Scuba and
leftovers.
yeah, so actually there are lots of leftovers. So you've
Hmm.
got Scuba and Gabby who reconnect. No, yeah, Scuba and Gabby, they're alive. And they're just like, oh, I guess we did it. I guess we're good. And then that's it.
Yeah.
They comfort each other a little bit. Um, and then we're at our very last scene of the movie where some time has passed. Jessica, I'm sorry, after all of this,
Here we go.
like, okay,
I know.
here's
Here we go.
my compromise is fuck them both. Fuck
No,
Bobby,
I
fuck
I do
Ryan.
think she should have just like, why do we need a man after this? Like, just separate yourself. Yeah.
Or I'd be like, if sticking around is your love language, right?
Mm.
Or that's the love language you receive, I'd be like, hey, Scuba, you're single now. What's up?
Yeah, go for Scuba. He's hot, he's sweet. Like,
He shows
you
growth.
both have you trauma bonded. Like, yeah, like, you know what? Yes, Team Scuba. But honestly, I don't think Jessica deserves Scuba.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so maybe everybody should have just landed just single.
I think Scuba and Gabby,
Well, that'd be cute. Yeah.
I think they'd be cute.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I think they knew there was a potential for a sequel, and that's why we had so many survivors.
right. This
Yeah.
last scene I think is really dumb though. Like this like dream
So
fake out where like
stupid.
he like comes out behind like the closet and then she wakes up again and then the movie's over and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's on fire. So like clearly it didn't really happen. It's not and I know what you did last summer situation, or and I still know what you did last summer, like dream sequence. It's very much not real, and you know that. But I think it's just to show and give you that like glimpse, like, oh, he could still be alive. And now he's just gonna be flaming hot all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the end of our movie.
that's the end.
I'd love to hear some taglines.
You're only going to hear one tagline because this movie only has one. And of course, you spoiled it by saying it 5 times. And it's my favorite tagline of 2023 and maybe one of my favorite taglines ever. And
Uh-huh.
it's there will be no leftovers. I just think that's so fucking funny.
Yeah. I think in the original trailer for like the 2007 fake trailer, I'm pretty sure that was the tagline too.
Yeah. No, that was gold. They were like, we have to make a movie with this tagline.
How can we not?
We can't pass up this opportunity.
I agree. That's a thumbs up tagline.
Mm-hmm. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Boo scores. Boo
Mm.
scores. You want to go first?
I'll go first. I feel confident in my boo score after we've talked through this. Okay. I really enjoy a lot of the kills in this movie, so it definitely gets a lot of credit for that. And the practical effects are super fun. I also love those little touches of humor, like just right in the right places. It just has some silly jokes that I think actually landed really well because they're a little more subtle. And the movie's pacing actually works for me. So tonally, it feels imbalanced, but I feel engaged the whole movie. Like the first and second time watching it, I felt like I really liked the pacing of things and even like the frequency of kills too. So enjoyed that. The acting is rough. I'm not really a super fan of a lot of these actors. And it's just I feel like they didn't quite get it. Like they didn't know what they wanted to do. Like I don't think Eli Roth knew where he was really going fully, which makes me excited for a sequel because I think that second one has the potential to be better than the first one with a movie like this. So I will watch a sequel and I'm gonna land it right in the middle with 2.5 boos
Mm,
because it is entertaining.
I think so too. And that's where I'm going to land as well. 2.5.
Yeah.
Um, Now I said Cabin Fever. It's my second favorite Eli Roth movie.
Hmm.
I think this one's my favorite of his. Now, granted,
I
still giving it a
disagree.
2.5. It's right down the middle. I'm gonna see. I feel like Cabin Fever will probably have the same, but you would think I'd give that a higher boost score. I just remember being thinking that movie was fun, but
The body horror in that like really does it for me.
I just remember that
So,
bathtub scene. That's really, or the shower scene is really all I
ooh,
remember
yeah,
from
that's
that.
rough.
Like
Mm-hmm.
shaving her legs and stuff, and the flesh comes off.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's rough. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the kills are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like any of these characters, so like seeing them
No.
die is always fun. And I think that he made a fun, effective slasher movie
Yeah.
and moved away from some of the more exploitative, gross, misogynist shit that was even in that original trailer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, like maybe I'm giving this movie a little extra love because they're just, uh, I guess Happy Death Day came out too, but like just there's definitely been a void in like character slashers. And what I mean by character
Mm-hmm.
slashers is like some emblematic, like whatever you have your costume and you have your
Yeah.
weapon, and that's your killer,
Yeah.
and like that sort of slasher.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I was already, I think, predisposed to wanting to give this movie more of a chance because I just like it. And of course, I like holiday themed slashers anyway. So
Oh yeah.
I welcome it. But so I think, I don't know, a lot of that carries it a long way. I think Dempsey is fun until the end. He kind of does the killer reveal thing okay.
Yeah,
But
I think he could have been a little bit more wacky
yeah, I think
with
so
it.
too.
So if I'm assuming he'll come back in the second one, so I would hope that with the burnt
Yeah.
up face, like he's a little bit more wild. So maybe that's why it was a little more understated.
Yeah. So I'll give it a 2.5.
Yeah. But speaking of your like slasher interest, that does make me excited for Hard Eyes. which is supposed to come out next year for Valentine's Day
Hmm,
and
love
has
it.
our boy Devon Sawa in it.
Love that. Always.
Hmm.
Anything else you want to talk about with Thanksgiving?
No, no, I
No.
think we covered it.
All right. Well, hey, y'all, if you have to work during this holiday, take care of yourself.
Hmm.
Because people are fucking crazy.
Yeah, get that time and a
And,
half.
but hey, do that hustle. Get that time and a half. You deserve it. That's really all I got.
Thing.
All right, everybody. Take care. I'm even thankful for you.
We are thankful.
Yeah. There you go. Three, two, one, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Thanksgiving. If you enjoyed this episode, but are still hungry for more, you can subscribe to our podcast and leave us a killer review on whichever platform you choose to listen. You can find us on Instagram at 321 Ghost Pod and give us a follow. We're very active on Instagram and would love to save a seat for you at the table. You can shoot an email to 321ghostpod@gmail.com to share any thoughts, questions, or recommend a movie you'd like to hear us chat about. Next week, we're racing back into our Final Destination series with The Final Destination. Thanks again for listening, and remember, a 62-year-old woman could have a baby. 3, 2, 1, ghost.